come to order. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Green? Here. Mr. Lyda?
Here.
Applebatter?
Here.
Mr. Reeves?
Here.
Mr. Skelton?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Wright?
Here. We can stand for the invocation and then we'll be ready to pledge allegiance by number 69 Boy Scouts.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for giving us this beautiful warm weather. We begin a new week refreshed and ready to accept the challenges and joys that are ahead of us this week. We know that you are with us each step of the way. In faith, we continue to put our trust in you in all things. We pray for those in our community and in our families who are in need of your healing power, especially for Councilman Skelton and for Councilman Green's grandson. We ask your blessings and protection upon our military and their families. We are grateful for the blessings you have bestowed on this city, and we pray that you would continue to guide and protect the mayor and council in the days ahead. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Boy Scouts, step forward and lead us.
Scouts aye. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Scouts, if you'd stay standing, just introduce your name and what badge you're working on.
Eagles Cherry, and I'm working on my Eagle rank.
Jonathan Delamona. I am also working on my Eagle rank.
Okay.
Michael Chu, working on Starter rank.
Hamilton Chris, working on first class.
Ethan Shaw, working on first class. I'm Brady Freeman, working on Eagle Scout rank. I'm Angelo Delamona, Scout Master.
Thank you, Scout Master. Appreciate it, sir.
Mr. President, if it's good, I was wondering what the Eagle proponents, what are they working on for their Eagle project?
Project? Not exactly sure I'm doing for my project yet.
Ditto.
I'm hoping maybe do something to help with the conservation efforts on the Hoover River.
Great.
Thank you. Mr. Pate's going to fill in for the mayor tonight. He's been called out of town on business. And Mr. Pate, if you would, we have the first proclamation. We have Diane Finley to come up on the Bob Finley character recognition. Diane? It's got a clock in it.
Proclamation. Whereas Hoover City Schools seek to install excellent character in its students, faculty, staff, and parents, and to daily live out character as good citizens. And whereas the citizens of Hoover, Alabama appreciate its reputation as a community where character matters in all we do. And whereas Bob Finley was an educator, coach, citizen, and friend in the Hoover community from 1964 to 1994, and daily lived out principles of excellent character for more than 30 years. And whereas the Finley Character Recognition Awards program was started in 1995 to recognize individuals within Hoover that display exemplary character in the spirit of Coach Bob Finley. Those who exemplify this spirit set high standards for himself or herself, exemplifies quiet leadership, encourages the best in others, possess an outstanding work ethic, have genuine concern for others, is honest, respects others, and is respected by others, set a positive example for young people and adults. Whereas the Finley Character Recognition Awards program celebrates its 20th year of honoring more than 2,000 students and faculty who exemplify Bob Finley's spirit of excellent character. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Gary Ivey, Mayor of the City of Hoover, Alabama, do hereby proclaim March 26, 2015 as Bob Finley Character Recognition Day in the City of Hoover, and hereby urge all citizens of Hoover to render support for this very meaningful event. In witness hereof, I have set my hand and cause the seal of Hoover to be affixed on this, the 16th day of March 2015, and signed by the Mayor as well as Council President Wright.
in here, baby, Mom. Right in there, baby. There you go.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. We have a second one proclamation tonight, Congenital Diaphragmatic Hernia Action Day, and we have Nadine Malouf here, and her family accepted. Hold Mr. Page here in the middle. Mr. Walker, if you would.
Proclamation, whereas 1 in every 2,500 pregnancies are diagnosed with a congenital diaphragmatic hernia. And whereas since 2000, it's estimated that over 500,000 babies were born with CDH and only 50% of those babies survive. And whereas 1,600 babies are born with CDH every year in the United States, although CDH is as common as spina bifida and cystic fibrosis, but very few people know about it or are aware of it. And whereas many in Alabama have been diagnosed with and have survived CDH, their families have endured the horrible pain and grief associated with the suffering of loved ones with CDH. And whereas raising awareness of this congenital defect will help bring about acceptance and support for those enduring it, and will help advocate for urgently needed medical research and advancement. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Gary Ivey, Mayor of the City of Hoover, do hereby declare April 19, 2015 as Congenital Diaphragmatic Hernia Action Day in the City of Hoover, and urge all our residents to help support families and help spread awareness. Signed the 16th day of March 2015, executed by Mayor Ivey as well as Council President Wright, and properly attested.
Okay, who's going to take that?
Okay, one more with her camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. We have a third proclamation, National Safe Place Week. Laura Junkins is here to accept. She come up. Mr. Walker, if you would.
Proclamation, whereas the youth of Hoover, Alabama will determine the future strength of our country and be the bearers of our democracy. And whereas youth need a safe haven from various negative influences such as child abuse, substance abuse, depression, crime, and youth need readily available resources to assist from when faced with circumstances that compromise their safety. And whereas the Safe Place program is committed to protecting the youth of Hoover by offering short-term housing at neighborhood locations where trained volunteers are available to counsel and advise young people seeking assistance and guidance. And whereas designated locations where youth can get information and immediate care. Safe Place is found in businesses such as restaurants, convenience stores, movie theaters, and community buildings such as fire stations, libraries, and community centers. And whereas the success of Safe Place is based on public-private collaborations between businesses, school systems, fire departments, law enforcement, and a network of volunteers. And whereas Hoover needs increased numbers of community volunteers serving as mentors and positive influences on young people. And whereas the Safe Place program must meet performance standards relative to outreach and community relations to receive direct federal assistance as set forth in the Runaway and Homeless Youth Act. And whereas more than 1,400 communities in 39 states administer the Safe Place program at more than 19,000 locations. And whereas more than 314,000 youth have been helped at a Safe Place location or received counseling by phone as a result of Safe Place information received at school. And whereas since program inception in 1983, more than 12 million youth have been reached through through National Safe Places Building a Safety Net for Youth campaign, familiarizing them with the Safe Place sign and providing them with information about how to seek help in order to stay safe. And whereas increased awareness will encourage more communities to establish safe place locations where youth can readily access the help they need. Now, therefore, I, Gary Ivey, Mayor of the City of Hoover, Alabama, proclaim March 15 through March 21, 2015 as National Safe Place Week, and call upon the people of Hoover and interested groups to promote awareness of volunteer involvement in the Safe Place program and observe the week with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Signed this 15th day of March 2015, executed by Mayor Ivey as well as Council President Wright, and properly attested.
I don't say cheese anymore, do
We have a fourth proclamation, Miss Alabama USA, Madison Guthrie would come down. Who happens to be Miss Alabama USA.
I? No, I don't say cheese.
Mr. Walker.
Proclamation, Miss Alabama USA 2014, Madison Kelly Guthrie. Whereas the Miss Alabama USA pageant is one of the supporting state contests that works with the Miss USA pageant, and whereas Ms. Guthrie was born in 1995 in the Hoover area, attended schools in the city of Hoover, relocated to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to attend college, but retains her permanent residence with family in Hoover, and whereas according to the Hoover Sun, Tuscaloosa News, and Jocks 94.5 radio station, Madison Kelly Guthrie was recognized for her determination and perseverance during her journey through the Miss Alabama USA pageant. And whereas the platform of Miss Guthrie is to support Toys for Tots, a mission of the U.S. Marine Corps to collect and distribute toys as Christmas gifts to less fortunate children in the community, and Beads of Courage, a charity whose mission is providing innovative arts and medicine supportive care programs for children coping with serious illness, their families, and the health care providers who care for them. And whereas Ms. Guthrie competed in the Miss Alabama USA pageant representing the city of Hoover as Miss Hoover 2014, and whereas Ms. Guthrie was crowned Miss Alabama USA on November 16, 2014. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Mayor Gary Ivey and members of the Hoover City Council, their congratulations to Madison Kelly Guthrie, Miss Alabama USA 2014. On behalf of the citizens of Hoover, we further express to her our deep abiding appreciation for the standard of excellence she has set for young ladies everywhere, and wish her the best of luck and continued success in pursuit of the title of Miss USA. Presented this the 16th day of March 2015. Congratulations, Madison Kelly Guthrie, Miss Alabama USA 2014, signed by Mayor Ivey as well as Council President Wright, and properly attested.
I know I did not look good in that picture.
Okay, let me use your, is it on my side?
It is, yes.
best parks, camps, and attraction goes to the Hoover Library. That's story time. Mountain Brook a distant second and Homewood a distant third. I might add. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Approval of the minutes. Anybody receive a copy of the March 2nd regular meeting and March 12th work session? So take a motion.
Mr. President, I'll move for approval of the minutes as presented without reading. Second.
A motion second, discussion of the council. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. Resolution 52-32-15, Mr. Walden.
This resolution amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2015. These amendments primarily to address drainage issues and some carryover adjustments from FY 2014.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of resolution 52-32-15. Second.
A motion is second, discussion from the council.
Mr. President, on the first one, Barbara, additional for 150 resurfacing in Galleria Boulevard.
Yes, sir.
Is that the resurfacing that was done, or could it be done with the widening of 31?
No, sir. Tim can answer that better than I.
No, that's actually a project, another LDOT project through A-Trips that widens Highway 150 westbound, takes out that jog and across that intersection right there. It lengthens the right turn lane. That's what that project is for.
Seeing some new faces in the audience, we had a work session the other night where these items were handled in more detail. One of the reasons we might appear to go rather quickly through these. Any other questions from the council? Any from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolution is approved. Resolution 52-33-15, Mr. Walden.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to execute a medical director agreement with the University of Alabama Health Services Foundation. Under this agreement, Dr. Sarah Nafziger will serve as medical director and provide medical direction services to the Hoover Fire Department. Among other services, Dr. Nafziger will participate in and oversee quality assurance and improvement activities such as case reviews, reviews of clinical care, evaluation and design of clinical care protocols, and evaluation of clinical competence. Dr. Nafziger will also oversee training and equipment of Hoover EMS, advise paramedics in the field, and oversee recertification of EMS officers.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of resolution 52-33-15. Second.
I have a motion is second. Any discussion from the council? Is that okay with you, Chief Powell?
Yes, sir.
Any comments from the audience? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Resolution 52-34-15, Mr. Walden.
This resolution authorizes submittal of a grant application to the Birmingham Metropolitan Planning Organization, administered by the Regional Planning Commission of Greater Birmingham and North Alabama Department of Transportation for the fiscal year 2015 Transportation Alternatives Program, also known as the Cahaba River Chase Greenway Trailhead Project. The amount of the grant application shall not exceed $500,000. If awarded, the grant will require a 20% city max that will need to be appropriated prior to the acceptance of the grant.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of resolution 52-34-15. Second.
I have a motion is second. Any discussion from the council?
Mr. President, if I'm correct, this is going to add an additional 40-acre park to the city, natural park.
You address that to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Land's already there, we know. Additional questions? Any from the audience? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Proceed. We have two resolutions here, 52-35 and 52-36. We can take them in unison. Mr. Walden.
These are germane. These resolutions authorize the mayor to execute certain agreements pertaining to lane improvements at Highway 150 and Galleria Boulevard. More specifically, to execute a construction agreement with ALDOT pertaining to widening, resurfacing, and signal modification on Highway 150 at the Galleria Boulevard.
President, I would move for approval resolutions 523515 and 523615.
Second.
I have a motion to second. Any discussion from the council? Any from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolutions are approved. Resolution 523715, Mr. Walker.
This resolution awards bid number 35-14 for emergency lighting for vehicles to emergency lighting by Haynes. Invitations for bids were mailed to 91 vendors as listed on the City of Hoover vendor list, and the invitation to bid was also posted on the city's website. Two vendors bid on the project. Emergency lighting by Haynes bid of $88,490.55 was the lowest responsible bid, meeting all specifications and requirements.
Mr. President, I would move for approval resolution 5237-15.
Second.
A motion to second. Any discussion from the council?
Mr. Powell, we did verify this is not a per unit cost.
That's correct. The pricing represents 11 different configurations, one of each. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. President, it was my understanding that at the work session, we were going to convert this over to a resolution to allow the mayor to negotiate this for emergency lighting, since they were the only responsible bidder.
Admiral, I met with the mayor after the work session, and he requested that it be presented as is.
Additional comments from the council? Comments from the audience? Yes, sir. Come up and state your name. Address.
Matthew
Randy, you need to come up here, please. State your name and address, please, who you're with.
My name is Matthew Randall. I'm representative of Service Lighting Solutions, who is the second company that bid for this contract. And we were in fact low bid by over $12,000. I'd like to know why we were not a responsible bidder in this case.
I guess being or Chief Wingate or Chief Durst, but I understand, it's my understanding that not all the components met minimum bid requirements.
Well, I was never contacted. There was an alternative product bid.
Once bids are open, you know, there's no conversation beyond that.
I do understand that, but I find it hard that we were low by $12,000 for us to just roll this over.
Are you a distributor for all the parts that would have been included in the bid?
For all the parts that I bid, yes, sir.
Did you bid all the parts that were required within the bid process?
I did minus one manufacturer, but it's my understanding that even all the products that are on there, nobody is a master distributor of all of them. There are products on there that the companies do not allow a master distributor by definition.
Are you a warranty maintenance provider?
Absolutely.
For all parts?
I'm sorry?
For all parts?
Yes, sir.
Ben?
Yes, sir. Our research found a little bit different than what being described here. Our research found in contacting some of the manufacturers that this company is not an authorized distributor of some of those manufacturers' equipment. And several of the items, it was difficult to follow in the bid submittal all of the items that were submitted as an alternate, but there were quite a large number of substituted items that were submitted, and it was very difficult to determine what items were being substituted for what items. So we, the fact that there were many items that did not appear to be what we specified in the bid specifications, along with the fact that we could not get, in fact, we received negative response from some of the manufacturers when we contacted them, asking them if this particular company was an authorized dealer for those particular manufactured parts. We got a negative response from not one, but a few of those companies.
Chief Wingate, are you in agreement?
Chief Wingate didn't have anything to do with this.
Chief Durst, did you participate?
Yes.
Are you in agreement?
I concur with Mr. Powell.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, due to the Second.
I have a motion, is 2 seconds. All in favor of continuance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's continued.
Should I remove my motion?
Sure you can.
Thank you.
Let the record state so. We have a first reading, and we have 2 ordinances coming up here because they're property. We have to have 2 readings of ordinance, so we'll have the first reading tonight, ordinance 15/2268.
This ordinance would annex property located at 2929 Monte de Este Drive. It's owned by Richard and Margaret Lowe. It's at the request of the property owners. The second reading and consideration for adoption of this ordinance would be on Monday, April 6th. The second ordinance, which is number 15/2269, this is also an annexation ordinance that would annex property located at 1701 Kestweek Drive. It's owned by James and Patricia Lebio at the request of the property owners. And this second reading and consideration for adoption of this ordinance also would be on Monday, April 6th.
Okay. We'll be setting public hearings for April 6th. Consider the following request, SFM LLC, doing business in Sprouts Farmers Market, requesting conditional use to allow sale of retail beer and wine at Sprouts Farmers Market located at 5250 Medford Drive, Suite 120, crossing the Hoover Shopping Center. LLC is the property owner, zone C2 Community. Signature Homes requesting conditional use approval to allow clubhouse, pool, and park to be located at Sawyer Trail and Ross Bridge, off the Ross Bridge Parkway. Killer Bar requesting zone property located at 2128 Sumter Street from CB Preferred. R1 single family, this property is owned by Killer Bar. Third Foreman representing United States Steel Corporation to rezone 26.2 acres, more or less vacant land located on South Shades Crest to Trace Crossings PI, Planned Light Industrial, PC Planned Commercial. This property is owned by the United States Steel. We'll have the first reading of those ordinances tonight. April.
Pardon? Well,
First reading will be on April 6th.
correct. Well, ordinance number 15/2270 is, all 3 of these are 15/2270, 15/2271, and 15/2272 are all zoning ordinances in the description, just what you just read.
Okay.
So I would consider these the first reading when accomplished.
You want to read them, make them official?
I think they're already official, Council President, but I can read them in
I'll
detail.
just keep on reading. Rezone 2.02 acres, more or less located in the intersection of State and Trace 150 from not zoned to Trace Crossing PUD. It was a Trace Crossing PUD cleaning and development. This property is owned by United States Steel. And then the Trace PUD parking requirements for planned commercial retail developments at Trace Crossings from 5 per 1,000 square feet of retail to 4.5 per 1,000 square feet of retail space. This property is owned by the United States Steel. Obviously, these are first reading, and they won't come to fruition or be discussed until the April 6th meeting. It's when we'll have a public hearing on those. Payment of bills, Mr. Smith?
Mr. President, I review the bills and request they be paid as presented.
Second.
I have a motion to second, any discussion for the council? In the audience, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Comments or questions from the council?
Mr. President, I'd like to go on record once again congratulating the Park and Rec Board for the new all-inclusive playground next to the Miracle Field at Hoover Sports Park East, and especially thank Signature Homes for all the work that they did in preparing the property.
Additional comments from the council? Comments from the audience?
I'm Dan Fulton. I live in Bluff Park on Orford Avenue. It was posted today by Mr. Roy Williams of the Hoover Sun, an article on the Hoover schools stating that we have the highest percentage of national board certified teachers. In the Hoover schools, we have 149 that have reached this level. The 15% of all the teachers in Hoover are nationally board certified. The national average is just 3%. And before coming to the meeting, I looked at the website of the View at Lake Cyrus, and it says, "In the best school district, Hoover!" exclamation point, pointing out that those homes in the View are in the best school district. From our rankings I've seen, we're about number 3, but I would like Hoover to be number 1, and I think the teachers have demonstrated by participating in the National Board Certification a determination for Hoover to be not number 3, but number 1. I had the opportunity Saturday to talk to Senator Larry Stutz, one of our new senators from he's from District 6. He's a OBGYN, and he was pointing out that a lot of the problems in the schools are coming really from parents. Of course, he's delivered a lot of babies, and he talks to a lot of parents. And when I was teaching, I found that often to be true. I would end up having to be teacher as well as do some parenting. And the governor has pointed out the importance of pre-K in our schools, and we don't have universal voluntary pre-K in Hoover. In fact, we don't have it in any school system in Alabama. The governor has called for it, and where parents maybe perhaps have not been able to provide everything they need to make their children ready for school, the pre-K program can help make those students school ready so that these nationally board certified teachers can make sure that these students excel and achieve. But some come really not ready for school. A pre-K program with those 4-year-olds will make sure they are ready to achieve, to be college ready and career ready when they finish Hoover High School or Spain Park High School. I would call on the council to consider perhaps now with the budget, some time has passed, to reevaluate the budget and see if maybe there could be additional funding for the schools, and for, if nothing else, to try to implement more pre-K in the Hoover schools and move us to the path where we will eventually be able to provide universal pre-K for all the students in Hoover. The governor is working to provide additional funding for pre-K. Of course, we all know the situation in Montgomery. Maybe there'll be a little bit more money for that, maybe not. But that doesn't mean Hoover has to wait. We can go ahead and move forward, and I would hope maybe that there could be additional resources that could be provided to the Hoover schools from the council and the city to help in funding additional pre-K. Now, of course, we cannot tell the school board or Dr. Reese what to do with any additional funding, but we certainly could call on them to consider trying to add additional pre-K classes to the very few that they have already in place. Thank you.
My name is Shirley Berman, B-E-R-M-A-N. My background is in county government for Pensacola, Florida. I was the manager of the beach there, and some things have come to my attention in the recent 24 hours that I've been very unhappy with. And as a citizen of Hoover, currently I am most concerned about the information that was sent to me by email yesterday concerning the property at the end of Rock's Gap that was unanimously approved, I understand, on the 9th of March. I am up here to express my opinion and beliefs Excuse me? I know this is not the meeting for that.
Planning and zoning approved, it is not county board.
Excuse me. It does, you know, you knew what I was talking about, with all due respect, okay? However, I'm here to address, I've lived in Trace Crossings in Creekside for the past 3 years. And this is my second time to live in Hoover. I worked for a large company here in Birmingham at one time, and Hoover was a very large customer of mine. And I care very much about the community I live in. I have spent the past 3 years trying to resolve and help resolve sight distance, traffic flow, street lights, and everything connected to Brock's Gap. And the road has continued to cause a problem. I was emailed yesterday to be notified by all of my neighbors, I think there are about 200 of them in that email list, that this had been up before the city council, and I know I wasn't noticed on it. And I have been informed by your wonderful staff that the notice went out to 500 feet from, I guess, center point, as I call the Blue Angels Air Show. And that's not very far. I would consider it the length of a football field. And putting it in the Birmingham News today is almost a moot point, unfortunately. Most of us don't get the newspaper anymore to see those public notices. However, I am very familiar with how to get public notices out so that the residents of this beautiful city of Hoover are notified prior to a meeting happening, and residents being slapped in the face to learn that a unanimous vote was taken on this without people knowing about it. So where am I going with this? Okay, I'm going to the point where I have begged for streetlights to be fixed. If there is a new development at the end of Brock's Gap, it's going to intensify traffic flow, life safety issues, more accidents, and continue to cause a problem for the residents in Trace Crossings, especially Creekside. I have not heard the word McKay Management yet. Maybe that has happened without my knowledge, but McKay Management manages Trace Crossings, and I've not heard yet anything about McKay stepping in to try and resolve any of this. However, I am asking for this to be, I guess, punted, for a lack of a better word, because it seems that there are a lot of residents that knew nothing about this in order to come to the meeting, which I understand was held on March the 9th, so that we could voice an opinion. So that's where I'm coming from. In addition to that, I would also say, since the property is owned by U.S. Steel, if this development were to take place, I would hope that the city council would make it a definite due that Creekside be gated at their expense. Now, I'm really disappointed in all the people running the city right now, because I didn't know, and at least another 200 people didn't know about this. So I'm here to help you fix it if you want to use my services, but and that would be on a volunteer basis for me. But I am very unhappy about it, and I know a lot of my neighbors are. So I'm going to leave that in your hand, and I'm going to let you determine whether a motion is in order to get this re-resolved with all your residents being a part of it. That's all I have to say.
you want to make a comment?
I just wanted to come down.
Name and address, please.
Pardon?
Need your name and address.
Oh, name of the address, Ken McElhaney, 5432 Creekside Lane, and I've been a resident there for 8 years. And we chose 8 years ago to move to Hoover from Mobile. Some of our friends thought we'd lost our mind because I was a native of Mobile. My wife essentially a native of Mobile. She raised just a little ways away. But overall, we have had a real good experience with the city of Hoover. They've responded to requests that I have made for additional signage in areas on Block Gap that needed some curve signs. There's been numerous accidents there with people driving too fast and that sort of thing. And recently there was a dead deer one night as I was coming home. As soon as I got home, I called the police department, and I told them, I said, listen, this is a traffic hazard. It really needs, this deer needs to be removed tonight, if at all possible. At least put up on the grass. And the next morning, that deer was gone. I mean, and it's been a real good experience so far. This is the only real negative that we have experienced here. Our daughter and son-in-law and 2 grandchildren we moved up here, live about 5 miles on down South Cheese Crest. Well, for about an hour and a half every morning, that traffic is backed up like crazy. And just a little bit ago, I left the Y, and it was backed up from the Box Gap all the way to 150, and it's that way for about an hour and a half every day. And my reason for addressing the council, which I appreciate the opportunity to do, is to ask you, and I see it's on the agenda for April the 6th, ask each member of the council to go out and spend a little time at this intersection, see how much traffic. We really don't need this. There's 6 service stations within a mile and a half, mile and 3/4 of this intersection with convenience stores, and there's numerous vacant commercial properties just immediately, just a few feet away, and it's something we just don't need. We've got a new Target, we've got a Sprouts coming in, and all that, so we don't need additional shopping right now. We need to try to maintain this as a green area. So I'd appreciate your consideration on that, and each member to spend a little time there at that intersection.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
There's another one over here. Any additional comments from the audience? We have a school board vacancy up, and that'll go till last Thursday of the month. Have we had any applications received? Martin?
We have not had any received back.
No applications received on that. Any additional questions?